Hello, thank you for joining us again on Minds of Commercial Real Estate. Today we have Josh Zakarya from Ace Building Material. Josh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I know it's been you've been trying to get me on here for a little bit now, and finally I made this schlep over here.
Yeah, it's definitely right. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, for coming over.
Yes.
You got what I want, got what I want. You give me just one look and you know I'm good to go. You know I'm good to go.
So you are one of the owners of Ace Building Material, where you guys supply the basic material for any structure being built, new construction or remodel. And you tend to see the trends of the economy and the construction. And when the economy is doing better, you're obviously selling more. If not, when sales come down, you guys kind of feel it. So what have you been seeing for 2025?
Okay, so far in 2025, things have been kind of pretty smooth for us. We have a lot of big projects that we do. We work with a lot of big developers in the Valley, in Hidden Hills, in Bel Air, Beverly Hills. So in these projects, they take a couple years to build. So people are not slowing down. They're not stopping. Even if they have a project, they're going to keep going. And a lot of these developers they're going. And with the tariffs that came in the end, it's the end user that's paying for it.
Right.
And my margins are staying the same. Everything's staying the same. So it's really the homeowner, whoever it is, the end user, they're the ones that are going to incur all those costs.
Right.
So with the tariffs that came in, it hasn't really affected as much. We've still been doing, shipping things from China and whatnot. But I feel like it just gets passed on.
Got it. To the end user.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what about like projects where you sold, let's say lumber, and then all of a sudden the tariffs hit? Did that affect you in any way? Did you have to go to your buyer and say, look, I need to charge you more? Or did you keep the same pricing and for the next purchase order, increase your prices? How did that affect you? Because those were pretty sudden how those kicked in.
No, I mean, we just changed our pricing right off the bat. It's not like we guarantee anyone any pricing for like 90 days. No, kind of our quotes are like, for like within 30 days, and we will adjust the pricing accordingly as quick as possible.
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, based on your sales, based on the clients and developers you're working with, are you seeing more residential, commercial, or is it like about the same within the last 3 years of what's being built?
It's about the same. We do pretty much high-end residential homes. So that's the customer base that we deal with because of our location on right off the 405 and 101. So we're very easily accessible to, going over the hill and whatnot.
Sure.
So most of what we do, I get 90% is the high-end residential homes.
Market.
In
terms of now with the tariffs and purchasing, is it taking longer to get the material, or is it the same time frames as before?
About the same time frames as before. And actually, a funny thing too is I was like going over some of the cost on some of like the stuff that I'm importing, like metal lath or whatever it is. I'm paying about the same price that I am now as I was even before the tariffs, which makes me think that somehow I think like the Chinese government is subsidizing, absorbing some of the costs of the stuff that I'm importing, because literally with all these tariffs that came in, it's about almost like the same price. So I'm like, how's that happen? How's that possible?
They must be subsidizing in one way or another.
Yeah, to help, to keep, their economy going and moving, So I feel that's probably taking place over there.
If they're subsidizing, yeah, because I remember there was a moment in time where there was a lot of containers stuck in their ports, right? And it was going to the city because the ports didn't have enough space. But I guess they're trying to manage it and get through these tariffs, and then they got to make their sales. That's the economy.
And I just got, because I just ordered a couple of containers from China. I just got an email from both the people that bought the containers from that Trump just took down the tariffs by 10%.
Sure. So
they're honoring that price even because the containers haven't landed yet. So they're reducing the price by 10% too.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
But you have a long-term 40-year history with majority of these, right, providers from your father and yourself.
Yeah.
So they can't lose you as a client in one way or another.
Exactly.
Now, what about like when all this commotion was happening and your developers were buying material? What was their thought process that you spoke to them taking orders? Were they like hesitant? Were they just stressed?
I mean, I think people were hesitant. There is definitely a good amount of people that are uncertain too right now about building. Some people are complaining that they have nothing going on, and other people are they're going with it. It's kind of like I feel like during COVID when people just stopped, they were so worried about the economy, and then they just realized nothing. It just kept going and going.
Life goes on.
Life goes on, and I think for a lot of these people, especially developers that have multiple projects, they have to stay busy. So if they're not making a mill on the house, they're gonna make 500,000 instead. At least they're staying busy doing that, you know. So I feel there's certain guys that they're just constantly building because they have to stay busy.
Right. Now, what about when ULA kicked in for these high-end developers? The majority are selling over pretty much 5 million in those neighborhoods you mentioned. Did that affect them in any way or sort? Did you get any complaints, or is like are they not developing, or are they continuing in the same route?
Still continuing the same route. Yeah.
So it didn't really make
Hasn't made a change. No.
not a change.
Yeah.
All right. Now, for somebody who's, especially with what's going on with the Palisades, all these people that have to rebuild the homes, they've never done a construction loan, they've never rebuilt, like they kind of don't even know where to start, right? They have to get the architect, they have to get the plans, and they're going to probably, a lot of them come to you and they're going to want material. What do you recommend for them to, before they get the final plans, or when they get their final plans and the pricing? How should they, go about it? Should they come to you and be like, here's my plans, how much wood, or should they have the contractor contact you, could kind of get a quote? What do you recommend for them?
So probably a good 90% or 95% of the business that we deal with is with developers or subcontractors. So I don't really deal too much with the homeowner side,
Right.
I think most homeowners these days, anyways, they don't have the capacity to buy on their own. They're just subbing everything out.
Sure.
They hire a GC, and then they go that route. For the homeowners now, I think what's becoming, like, especially in the Palisades area, they're looking for kind of materials, non-combustible kind of things for the builds. They're trying to get certain certain things out, get certain things to like kind of make their house as fire resistant as possible.
Correct.
So this doesn't happen again. And we've been working on that in that realm of trying to find products out there to kind of give, to get the knowledge out there to the homeowners that, hey, these are options for you that people probably wouldn't have done before. But now they're willing to do it and spend the extra money for it.
Right. And how much more expensive would you say these non-combustible material are?
It could be, 10 to 20% more on certain things. But again, you don't need everything to have that.
Correct.
Yeah.
But then again, they because they faced it once, that fear and losing their primary home with all their everything, they probably will spend more if necessary, even more than 10, 20% just to prevent that in the future.
When I have like some of my guys now, some of my developers are working on just building houses with metal studs and not with wood.
Right.
So kind of go that route.
Right.
So it's a little more non-combustible materials and stuff like that.
Right. So, and that delays the fire by a couple hours, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, that's great information for people to know. And obviously, people in the Palisades obviously have the money or will be able to spend more because the values, once that community comes back, is going to be up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to. I know a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of brokers that are actually buying properties out there. I think they're not scared. They know eventually this is going to come back.
Right.
So the smart people are actually, they're buying.
Right. In regards to the fire retardants, was there anything else you'd like to mention?
Yeah, and the fire retardant stuff, one of my vendors came to me with a product. Actually, it was like about a couple years ago. And it was this spray. He showed me, he brought the spray bottle. He put it on a paper napkin. He sprayed it. And then you take a lighter and it will not light. And this thing it's lasts like that for a year. So it's this retardant that someone came up with for this kind of specific issue, for this reason, to like, if you want to make something fire retardant, you could spray it on anything. It's nearly clear, like you can't see it. Right. And they say with this product, if you have like your whole framing done, all the wood is up, you could spray the whole entire house with this retardant, and it'll last a lifetime. Because once it's covered up, it's not exposed to any sunlight or anything. So once you cover it back up, all that wood becomes fully fire retardant.
Wow. And
that's a product that I'm working on, trying to get in, working with the manufacturer to get that, because I feel that's what the homeowners need to know. That's what they need to, like, these are the things that they probably are not knowledgeable about. There's no knowledge about it.
Right.
So we need to get that information to the end user, to the homeowner, or even to the city. Be like, hey, you should make this part of a spec of like, hey, for these houses, we got to do something to like, what are we going to do to make the code more fire retardant? What can we implement? Like, I know another thing, people are doing are metal roofs, instead of like a traditional roof, metal roof, because that also will help, with the fire. Right. And another small thing that people overlook are, the ventings for the houses. There's certain vents that don't allow the embers of a fire to go through. And because a lot of fires start with one little ember.
Right.
It comes inside the house, and then that's it. And they don't even know it's there. It keeps going and going and going. And next thing you know, you
And
got
it's all started from the attic. A lot of cases.
from the attic. Yeah, so like the venting for the attic. Exactly.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a huge. I mean, yeah, these are little small things now with what's happened earlier this year. People have to really look more into in detail to be able to prevent, especially with what's happening. And as insurance costs have gone up, so if any of these small things you can do to prevent, that'd be great. I mean, and obviously you guys can, once the GC or homeowner does call you guys, you can give them all these different advices of what's out there.
Yes. 100%.
Insurance obviously is there to give you money. It all depends how much dwelling you cost. They're there to give you the money, but they're not there to protect your house. They don't tell you how to build the house. So in terms of these fire retardants and this metal roof and these vents, right? I mean, what is your suggestion to homeowners today who are remodeling or building brand new?
For the homeowners, I recommend there's for some small things that you could do, like those vents. Just replace those vents in your house. I mean, that's something that's very minuscule. But for the guys that are doing new construction, those retardants, the metal roof, all that kind of stuff is just kind of get that in the plans. Go over this stuff with your GC. Talk about other options. I feel this year there's gonna be a lot of things coming out in the market, a lot more news. This became such a big problem for the Palisades, for Altadena.
Correct.
So many structures got burned. I think now there's going to be a lot more information, a lot more products coming out for this realm. I mean, there's even insulation that has that's fire retardant. There's certain materials for the exterior of the houses, like Den's glass is another material that's kind of like drywall kind of material. Right. That's also fire retardant. So there's a lot of products out there that you could use when you build your house. And it might cost a little 10 to 15% more, but that security that you're going to have your house.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is.
You don't want to lose the life, especially people in the Palisades and Altadena. I mean, what they've gone through, it's a catastrophe. Might, be talked about generations within generations. I mean, there's a lot of, things lost from the past and they can never replace it. So definitely these are great ways for them, for people who even homes did not get built just to prevent for the future, because Southern California is prone to fires, unfortunately.
It is. And you never know where or when, and
Right.
no one ever would have thought it was going to happen there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
It burned down a whole two complete cities almost.
Yeah.
But so homeowners, as you mentioned a little bit ago, homeowners should definitely go through their GC subcontractors, get their quotes and, price them with you prior. So they have kind of a knowledge what their material costs for the build will be. And then, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you to get and speak further?
Well, we are located in Van Nuys on Sepulveda and Oxnard. You could reach us at acebillmaterials.com. If anyone on the podcast is looking to find some of these materials, they could always reach out to our Instagram, our website, and we could give them a list of things and what we could offer in this realm of the fire retardant, fire resistant materials.
Great.
Even in terms of, hardscape, a lot of people probably now are going to steer away from doing wood decks and stuff because they probably maybe go with a composite deck, that's fire retardant. Right. So I feel that's going to be kind of the thing that most people want to go gear towards now,
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Josh. Appreciate all the good information.
Of course.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share any questions or comments in the comments below, and follow us on social media. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Let's get together. Let's get to having some fun. Let's do whatever. The night's looking so young. Let's get together. Let's get to having some fun. Let's get together. Let's get together. Let's get together. Let's get together.